What's up, guys? Just want to talk a little bit about the little bit of footage that was released. I saw it on Real Radman's channel. So if you guys want to see his thoughts on it, go check out his channel. Also, I saw it on Inside Sim Racing. So those guys put this content out. Go check it out. Um, I just want to give my thoughts on what we've seen so far. And I also want to touch on a couple of other things that are sort of related but not. First of all, I do want to just let you guys know, yes, I did change my channel name to my PlayStation tag name. So it's no longer DKing, which a lot of people found confusing, and it's now Disco Inferno 70. So I was born in 1970, so there it is. And I love disco, so that's it. Um, Now talking about this stuff, you know, the first thing that everyone's talking about is the graphics, and it's pretty obvious that the game, graphics wise, is going to look just like the last game. Uh, that's not necessarily, in my opinion, a terrible thing. The game, as I've said before, I don't think looks terrible. Can it look better? Absolutely. Do I wish it did look better? Yes. We all want the best looking game. When you play other games like Project Cars, Gran Turismo, all these other games, they all look light years better. They just polished and they just look better. So when you compare those games and then you come play this game, yeah, it's a step down and it's noticeable. That being said, I don't want people. I don't think it's good if we all fall into this thing where, okay, this game looks so terrible and it sucks and they really need to fix the graphics. I don't think that's a realistic way to look at it, and I think it's a waste of time at the moment. Eventually, I do expect. I don't know if it's going to be 704 Games or whoever in the future builds a NASCAR game, develops it from the ground up. It's going to have to. It's going to have to look like people expect it to look, and it's gonna have to be at least as good looking as a game like Project Cars or something like that, or Forza. Those games look fantastic. So that being said, this is what we have, and the reality is that 704 Games chose to develop this game using the Unity engine. I'm not an expert on game development, the technical aspects of it, and I'm always open to anyone who does know more about this stuff to school me. I'm okay. Anything I can learn, I'm grateful for. So, in the comment section, wherever, you guys can always say, hey, you're wrong about this, or this stuff, works like this. So, I don't, I'm not the most technically savvy person when it comes to computers or how the game development works. But I will say this: the engine they chose to go with is probably, they had their reasons for doing it, and I do believe, and I might be wrong, that it's a free to use engine, and there are other better engines that probably would have cost them a lot of money to use, and who knows, there's a lot of things that goes into the decisions they made to go with the Unity engine. In either case, I don't think it necessarily means that they can't build a great game with it. Okay, I don't see anything as far as the limitations of this game that you can blame on this engine. I think it has to do with the development team, what they're focused on. We don't know how. I don't know exactly how many people are actually working on the nuts and bolts of actually building this game. I'm not talking about the guys who, the management or the guys who oversee everything. I'm talking about the guys who actually sit and crunch the numbers, right? Because at the end of the day, these games are all a bunch of X's and zeros and ones, I should say, and it's just coding, right? It's very tedious. Uh, it, I'm sure most of us think it's very glamorous, but it's probably nothing like you would expect, right? It's these guys are sitting there and they're crunching calculations, numbers, using programs to make things happen. So I never would I ever say it's easy to develop a game. But I do use logic and common sense in certain aspects. Like when I've talked about statistics, I hammer them and I don't hold back because I know that if every other sports game in existence has had statistics and even non-sports games have stats, there's nothing they can tell me to excuse the fact that we haven't had stats. And even going back to Technics, since 2011, no statistics, right? So there's no excuse for that. And that's why I get so angry when it's things like that. That's just something that was purposely left out or just you didn't think about it. That's just okay. I'm gonna get off that. But the point is now that we're gonna get stats, so no, I'm good. But the point is that there's a lot that goes into the development of a game. So that being said, um, in order to build a game the way people want as far as graphics, they would have to start from scratch. That's not going to happen, right? So I try to keep criticism constructive. So to go on a rant and be like, hey, these graphics suck and they need to rebuild this game on a new engine, that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. It doesn't make sense that it would happen. They put resources into building this game last year, right? So they're building on that, right? And to be honest, if I was in a position to make a decision on that, I would tell them to build on it. I've said it before. As bad as the last game was, and as bare bones as it is, I do think there's enough there to build on, right? If you get capable people who know what they're doing and you're focused on the right things, you can build on this and you can get a really good game, okay? So graphics, they're more than adequate, and there are things that you can do to improve the graphics. Now, as I said before, I'm not an expert into what goes into the development or what you can do with this game, but I would think that there are a lot of tricks like shading, lighting, um, you know, contrast, little things that you can do to improve the picture quality, right? And maybe they'll still play with that. I don't know. So I would think there's something you can do to polish the graphics up just a little bit, right? But it's not going to look night and day better. It just isn't. So basically, you got what you got in terms of graphics. I'm focused and looking towards the gameplay, the physics, the handling, the AI, and the technical problems that the last game had that were never patched, right? And they gotta have it right this time. You can't put out another game with a broken caution system. The AI pit strategy is horrendous, okay? And they've continued the terrible tradition of Eutechnics where these AI, they don't want to pit when there is a caution. They don't want to pit. They stay out on a caution, and then they pit during a green flag. It doesn't make any sense. I would say 90% of the time when there's a caution, almost everyone comes in and they pit. It's stupid to stay out on old tires and then come in on a green. It ruins the immersion. It throws the entire race off, right? So the pit strategy is completely broken. They got to fix that. The caution system. The sound, okay? Nobody likes the sound. The game still sounds like a game from 12, 15 years ago, okay? So they got to fix that. So you need to fix the sound. And the physics and the handling need work, right? And the AI, even though it's vastly improved from all the other console games, there's still issues with it. They don't spread out like I think they should as quickly as they should. And the sense of awareness, it has to be better. But the AI isn't terrible. They actually made a good improvement over past games. So those are the technical things they need to work on, right? And then fleshing the game out, which they've announced. And all the things they've announced sound good. We haven't seen anything in terms of presentation or anything. So I don't know. Until we see that, I have no clue. But on paper, I'm happy with the things they talked about. So yeah, I'm still excited, but cautiously. Now, as far as the rest of the gameplay, it's hard to tell. The guy was playing on a hand controller. That's another thing that kind of bothers me. You go to E3 or you present this game to somebody to play. You don't have a wheel and pedal setup. It's ridiculous, man. I know a lot of people play with a hand controller, and I got nothing against that. But you can't develop a NASCAR game and then not show up with, not give people the opportunity to play on a wheel and pedal. I'm sorry, man, but that's a that's a mistake. I don't know how you do that. These are the things that raise flags for me, right? So I got to call them out on that. Why didn't you supply a wheel and pedal? And then the sim these are simulator guys. These are real hardcore simulator guys. You don't give these guys a hand controller. It's not good. So I'm not going to beat that to death. I think I made my point clear with that. That's a bad mistake. So I don't know what these guys are doing. Some of the things they do just still raise flags for me. Okay. What else do we know? Not much else. I have to wait, and we still got another 2 months. So not enough to really give a verdict on what I really think is going to come. The game still looks unfinished, and they're still working on it. Now I want to move on to something else real quick. This is something that's been ongoing for a long time, and I just want to address it. It's the iRacing debate. I see this all the time. I get people telling me, "Screw these guys, forget consoles, go to iRacing." I get it. And iRacing is a vastly superior experience to racing on a console in terms of online multiplayer. There's no denying it. It's a better experience. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, comparing iRacing to a console NASCAR game is apples and oranges. They're just not the same. I don't consider iRacing a game. Some of you do, but I consider it a service. You pay. It's a monthly service. It's kind of expensive. I don't have a problem with it, to be honest. I can afford it. It's not a question of affordability, but there are things I still enjoy about consoles that iRacing is not going to give me. Okay, iRacing is fantastic for racing people, but I still want that experience of playing offline against AI. Yes, I know it's not it. Racing real people is better, and racing against AI, some people consider it, whack. But I don't care. I enjoy that. There's something about the organization of racing offline and going through a career mode. I enjoy that stuff. Um, and it's not something you're going to get in iRacing. Now, if iRacing was ever to implement an offline uh, mode where you can run offline against AI and they have their own career mode, I wouldn't hesitate. I'd get it right away. But it's strictly online racing in leagues against people, and that's very enjoyable, okay? But there are pros and cons to everything, and it seems to me that people that throw out the iRacing uh, thing, they do it more to say, screw console gaming. Just go to iRacing. And it doesn't bother me that you guys mention iRacing, but I just want to make it clear that I consider it apples and oranges. And I am considering getting a PC for gaming and going to iRacing at some point. Okay, I don't know when, but I am considering doing it, and I probably will. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm walking away from consoles. And I damn sure doesn't mean that I'm going to forget about offline or career mode. I still enjoy that stuff. I still want that. And there is a lot to be said for being able to sit down and race offline, immerse yourself in a career mode that's story driven, that you build your own little career, that there's customization, and you're racing the thing about racing AI that I still firmly believe this. Racing offline against AI gives you a sense of organization and, I don't know how to put it, control that you don't get off online in multiplayer. When you race online against real people, you are at their mercy. So whether or not you have a fun experience is very much dependent on the people you're racing. And I'm telling you now, that's never going to change. Okay? There are things you can do to improve it, which is one of the things I'm so excited about what 704 Games is trying to do, which is something I've wanted to see, where you can race online against people and fill the field also with AI cars. I think that's something I've wanted to see. Whether they can make it work well remains to be seen. But I gotta say, I've been impressed with the fact that they've been able to get 40 players to run a race. I never thought that was possible. And they were able to do it. And their online multiplayer actually works. And if it's one thing they did right with the first game, yeah, there's a lot of little issues and glitches, but the online runs very smooth. I rarely see people that have problems with, unless it's their personal connection. The online works, and it works the way it was advertised. The reason online multiplayer sucks for most of us, not for everyone, but it's the people and all the crap that goes on, right? It doesn't help that there's no caution in the first game, but it works as advertised. So I have to give credit to where credit is due. 704 Games did a decent job, and I love what they're doing with this next game, which is what they're telling us. They're implementing stage racing and cautions, and they're going to give you the option to fill the field with AI, and I believe that is going to help sort of organize online, and it gives you a buffer between other people, right? When it's just other people, it's very easy for somebody to ruin the experience for everyone. But when you have a field full of AI as well, it sort of provides some buffer. Is it going to be perfect? I don't think so. But do I think it can be a much better experience? Absolutely. That's what I believe. And it's something I've talked about in the past and I've wanted. And I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see how it works. Okay? And hopefully it works as I think it should. But in spite of that, as I said, there is something about offline career mode, if it's done right, that I love and I want. And iRacing doesn't give that to you. So I'm still going to, yes, at some point I'm probably going to jump into iRacing. But at the same time, I still want consoles. I still want to see a good NASCAR title. I haven't given up on that. And these guys seem to be listening, which is what I wanted to hear. At least they're telling me what I want to hear. So whether they execute remains to be seen, but so please understand, I don't consider iRacing and console gaming on the same level. iRacing is better. There's no denying it. But it's a service. It's not a game. And it's expensive for a lot of people. And as I said, it's purely online multiplayer. And while I have enjoyed it to an extent, if that's all I can do with iRacing, it it pushes me away just a little bit. And I hope that at some point in the future they can implement an offline mode so you can do both. I'll 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 jump on it. I won't even think twice. But until then, I still want to enjoy offline career mode. There's a place for it. And a lot of developers for other games, they're starting to focus more and more and more on online multiplayer. And that's sad because a big part of console gaming has always been story modes, career modes, offline content. And one of the games I'm always talking about in reference to just as a sports title that does things the right way is the NBA 2K series. And anybody who plays that game will tell you that those games are famous not because of online multiplayer. They're famous because of the greatness of the offline career mode. That's what makes those games so great. And that that's not an experience you can get online. So I just wanted to explain my opinions on that and why, for me, they're two completely different experiences. So I respect the fact that you guys are like, hey man, go do iRacing. But that's why I still want to see some success on the console side. And I still enjoy playing offline. And I do. Yeah, you know what? I'm not ashamed to say I enjoy racing AI. If it's done if it's done properly and they can get this AI to pit when they're supposed to pit and have right pit strategy and the caution works and your spotters improved and the sound is improved, I'm telling you, you can have a blast if the competition is set just right. Okay, um, it'll work and it'll provide you plenty of entertainment. And then yeah, you can also race online against your friends or real people, but you still need offline career mode. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Once again, as always, I go on a little longer than intended, but I'm just trying to make myself clear, and I hope you guys can understand. So, yes, I'm looking to iRacing at some point, but I still want my offline career mode. So I hope you guys can understand that now. Last thing I'm going to say, I'm also looking into getting a motion simulator. I've been looking at simulators for the past couple of years, just browsing, window shopping, and if any of you have ever looked at motion simulators online and stuff, they're extremely expensive, and they are all for PC racing and gaming and stuff. But I found one company called Canis Engineering, and they make a motion simulator that works for consoles and PC. And I'm communicating with this guy named Jason. I guess he's the CEO. And I'm ready to pull the trigger on getting this motion simulator. If any one of you are interested, please check them out. Just YouTube Canis, Canis, motion simulator, and you'll see the simulator. Check it out. It looks awesome, and it works with consoles, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, and it works with PC. So I'm looking to get it, and then when I do get a PC to get into iRacing, I can do both, and it also works with VR. So I love the immersive aspect of it, and check it out and tell me what you guys think. And these things are expensive, but the average motion simulator, there's a lot more sophisticated ones. They run anywhere from like 15,000 to 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, $60,000. That's insane. And obviously, that's something I would only buy if I hit the lottery. But this simulator is 3,600 pounds because it's in the UK, and it'll probably work out to somewhere about $4,500, and then there's the shipping. So yeah, it's a lot of money. I get that, but in the big scheme of things, when you if you look at motion simulators, this is serious equipment, and this is actually very cheap for what it does. Go check it out. Tell me what you think. And should I get it? I think I'm gonna get it, but I wanna know what you guys think, and I can't wait to try it with NASCAR Heat too. That's what I'm really looking forward to doing it with. And the motion simulator, it works off of the steering wheel and pedal setup, so it works with any game that's supported by the wheel, which is what's great. It doesn't matter if uh, as long as the game supports that wheel, this simulator works off of that. Other simulators have their own proprietary software that they have to. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything else. Anything you guys want to find out, you could check it out. Go on YouTube, go check it out. CANIS Motion Simulators. It's Canis Eng, ENG actually, the company. Check it out. Tell me what you think. So, the next video, hopefully, there'll be more information to talk about. And thanks for hearing me out. I look forward to your comments. So, I'll see you guys around.